I have for you guys a review on the 2020 new Misty Bamboo Series 9-piece Rosewood Luxurious Brush Set. So that's how it's listed in AliExpress. Today we will go over all 9 of the brushes. I think I can demo all 9 of them on my face, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts on whether or not I think you should own this 9-piece luxurious brush set. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Kendra Morgan Official. I like to put out content weekly centered around makeup brushes that aren't Morphe, single eyeshadows, and sunscreens. So if you like that kind of content, make sure you subscribe down below. Let's get started. Got another brush review. Boop, boop, boop. Today I have for you guys the 9-piece set, and it also is in conjunction with the 4-piece eyeshadow brush set that I reviewed on my channel probably like 4 or 5 months ago. But I'm going to link that in the eye and down below. I have 3 of the brushes right here, and they're just really good goat hair blending brushes that I recommend. So go check that out if you want to buy just a really good eyeshadow brush set, excuse me. Today I have 4 face brushes to demo for you guys, and then I will have these 5 brushes right here. I may have to tap into my other MyDestiny brush set to just kind of blend some of the shadows out, because the only blender I have is this one, and it's just a little bit on the more precise side, so I may have to like cheat just ever so slightly to get that in. Let's go ahead and get started with the demo, and then we'll go into each of the brushes. Okay, the first brush that I desperately need to use right now is the Fox hair brush. So yeah, I'll roll my B footage and give you guys close-ups of the brushes, and then we'll go ahead and demo them. How about that? That sounds really good, doesn't it? So this is the powder and paint brush from the Snow Fox hair collection. It's their powder brush that comes with the collection. It has a shorter handle than the other brushes, I think. No, it's because the handle's shorter, but it's still 200 millimeters long in total length. Width is 55 millimeters, and then the height on the bristles is 50. I don't own any Fude fox hair like the Shikodo fox hair brushes from their fox hair collection. I cannot imagine a brush feeling any softer than this for fox hair. I will say this is the only brush I did not wash before using, because I don't have any intentions to wash it very often and get that full bloom that it can give me. I want it to target. This is about like a ½ an inch too big for my face as it is, so I just don't want it to like bloom too much more, because I more or less target powder. I don't really like a huge brush. Let's go ahead. I'm going to bronze up my face using this brush and probably blind you. I'm using the NARS Laguna. This is a kind of a hard panned type of bronzer. I think for this demonstration it'll work okay. I do like the Hoola, but for some reason I have my foundation kind of oxidized, so I look a little warmer, and this is kind of more of a neutral, and my Benefit bronzer that I normally use looks just a bit, and then just you can see here as I sweep it down, it really just makes like a nice soft wash of color. If you guys can see there, it really just adds a very understated amount of powdering to the face, and that is kind of nice. That's why I usually come on camera with my base first, because I'll get carried away, and next thing you know I'll look like a clown who was out in the sun too long. The next brush that I have in the collection is the bronzing brush. It is a mixture of squirrel hair and pony hair. I did try to find the interpretations, like the Chinese graphics, so that I could use my Chinese notes from a millennial's notebook, and see if maybe pony hair was supposed to be a goat hair, because it does not feel like pony hair at all. It feels like squirrel and goat hair. I'm not an expert. This brush here is my favorite so far, and I have the MAC 168. I did not purchase the Refer, whatever number it was, that's the contouring, you know, the angled. I did not want it for whatever reason. I looked at the shape and I was like, that's not a shape that I am drawn to at all. But I will say this has really kept me going on the blusher. And I'll just demonstrate. So let's go ahead and put some, I have this Tarte here. Oops. The Tarte blushes. And let's go ahead and put just kind of like a muted pink. And that's Slumber Party. Let's mix it though with a little bit of Pop Quiz, because I want to show you guys a little bit, you know. All right, there's the application. I'm just going to dip on the back of my hand a couple times and then just start in. And then I also drag this up, and it's so incredibly soft that it's like I don't feel like I'm hardly pressing at all. I really like it. Got a little carried away. I knew that would happen. I laid down my creams first, so I have the ABH cream contour in Fawn, and then I laid down my Milk Makeup Work for my blusher, and then I didn't put any bronzer down though. I don't have a cream bronzer, so if you know of any good cream bronzers, let me know in the comments down below which one you would like me to pick up. That might be good for my skin complexion and skin type, which I'm kind of, I don't know, I would say I'm normal to oily, but I do get dry too. I mean, I resonate well with dry skin as well. Oh, that's just too much. Now what am I going to do? Let me try this guy. Let me see if I can blend it out. Seems to be blending out really nicely. It's just a little bit too much blush, but that's okay. Really love that so much. I'm putting a little bit up here as well. Just kind of carry the redness all over the place. See, starting to look a little like a sunburned brown. Let's move on. The tongue-shaped blushing brush. Here she be. This brush is made of pony hair, and I thought it was squirrel hair, but it's pony hair. Let me give you some dimensions for that, because this one's not really a brush that I see too often. So it's 191 millimeters in length from the tip to the end. The bristles are 35 millimeters long and splay out to approximately 28 millimeters. So today I will be using my Here's to Beauty Naked Compact Powder and just go ahead and set underneath the eyes. I want you guys to see how much this really picks up a lot because it's pony hair. So then I tap off the excess and just press. See that? And it's so nice. I can just kind of swipe down like that. See that? See how it just right up underneath? Very beautiful. Again, just right there. It does pick up a little more powder than I would like it to pick up. I mean, if I had my way, it would be a squirrel hair brush, because then it wouldn't pick up. It would pick up some, but then it would just lightly add that hair, and I feel like pony really grabs quite a bit of product. But I will say this, I don't like using a lot of product, so I don't set my under eye and then go over it. So for me to own squirrel hair would be just kind of really difficult. That's that brush. Oh, I got a hair. I think I've only washed these once, but I've used them for going on over a month. I was going to have a first impressions video, but I started using it so much that like a month and a half has gone by, and I know if I was going to start talking about them, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've used this for 2-3 weeks now, and people would be like, that's not first impressions. We're past first impressions, folks. All right, the next brush is the flame shaped highlight brush, and it is a high grade of goat hair, and it looks like it's undyed maybe, or maybe that it's dyed, but it says that it is highest grade of goat hair. Again, like I said, I tried to find and decipher the Chinese writing, because usually they'll tell you more in Chinese, and then you can use like the Millennials Notebooks Guide to Buying Chinese Brushes on AliExpress and Taobao, and then find out exactly what type of goat hair you have, but they don't post that on any of these pictures. Again, this brush is about 26 millimeters in length, and it is 16 millimeters in width approximately. Let me go ahead and just set my face just really lightly with hurt myself putting on setting spray. I don't know. Like when I put my finger in, it just dug into that part right there. Oh, that hurt. So I'm gonna use the Anastasia Amrezy highlighter. It's just like borderline too golden for me. You can see how it picks it up. Tap off that excess, but you couldn't really see, like it's boom. I'm not sure if my lights are, I can't really bring it up in this area too much because I have so much texture that it would just really defeat the purpose of making me look pretty, and it would start to make me look really, it would just draw attention to an area that I don't want to draw attention to. I have really bad adult acne in that area, and I had it as a kid too. It adds it, and it's pretty defined, I would say. I just did highlight, or did set my face, so it's not completely 100% dry, so it's kind of one of those types of applications too. Here, let me highlight this zit that I couldn't get covered up. I thought I was using a full coverage foundation. I guess I wasn't. And I didn't use any. Here we go. It's just a little bit too golden for my skin tone, so I'm going in with a NARS Albatross. This is like icy, but I just want to put a little bit of that on top to neutralize it. I don't know. Let's try it. And I'm just going to centralize it right here. No, that didn't work at all. That's okay. No big deal. Okay, that is it for the face brushes. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in just a little bit to get you guys closer up, and we'll go ahead and do the eyes. Oh yeah, we're like right nice and close up, guys. So the first eyeshadow brush I'm going in with is called the Flame Blending Brush. It is the big size eyeshadow brush. Excuse me, Flame Shape Blending Brush. Sorry. And it is a mixture of squirrel hair and pony hair. It's pretty precise in its blending. I'm going to try and just use it alone by itself, but I may have to use one of the sister goat hair blenders that I have featured in a previous review, and I'll link that in the eye and down below if I haven't already. I think I have already linked it, but we will be using this eyeshadow palette story that I put together. It's Sydney Grace eyeshadows, and it's going to be featured in one of my future videos. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please, if I'm your vibe, make sure you subscribe, and that way you will be able to see what these shadows are. But today we're focusing on brushes, so I shall start to buff and blend some eyeshadow. Yeah, I mean, it works fairly nice as a blending brush. It is going to be a more precise blending brush if you look at it. Like, I can still afford a little bit more space up there to kind of get in and around my crease in that transition area. Alright, just going in with another shade, just kind of deepen up the look just a little bit. Actually, you know what, let me go in with the next eyeshadow brush, because we do have 5 of them to go over. So, I mean, you know, the big size eyeshadow brush is squirrel hair and pony hair as well. Let me give you the dimensions for that brush, because I know I'm kind of particular about these types of like flat hand paddle brushes. It's 175 millimeters in length from the butt of the handle all the way to the bristles. The bristles measure 14 millimeters high, and then they're about 13 millimeters wide. Again, that's going to differ, the width of your brush. It's going to differ just, you know, when you wash them and things of that nature. When I wash my brushes, for some reason I'm a little bit more like, I want them to be the original shape and kind of more tight. Some brushes I want to be bloomed out, some brushes I don't. These right here, I've noticed they don't bloom as much. They do hold their shape really, really nicely. So just kind of tap into this neutral shade here, buff and blend this up and around this outer portion of the crease, and you can see you can kind of turn it on its end or its side and just buff and blend, and then just bring it in. That's really nice. You could probably also put a nice soft wash over the lid if you wanted to. So just let you know. And then turn it on its side and just kind of over and out, buff and blend on that outer 1/3 of the eyelid. And then just kind of bring it up and over whatever I have excess of. I'm not 100% sure that they're even. No, they're not. All right, blend it out really nice. I don't know if those look even or not though. It's because my eyebrows are like not even cousins today, I feel like. All right. So let's move forward. We've got 3 brushes left in the eyeshadow category. We have the middle-sized eyebrow brush. It is Snow Fox Hair, and it is so incredibly soft, guys. This brush is beautiful. I really like it. Let's use a really pretty shimmer, this one right here. And I'm going to show you how nicely it picks up. So it picks up really nicely for a shimmer. I almost always just go in with a wet brush right off the go. laid down the color so softly, so beautifully. Just, I didn't really feel like I was putting nothing scratchy about that brush whatsoever. Really great brush. The next brush is called an eyebrow brush, and they describe it as Misty hair, but when I go and reference into the Millennials Notebook, and I'll go ahead and link her blog down below so you guys can go and check it out in my work Cited section, and she does a little guide on how to buy Chinese brushes if you don't know Chinese. And Misty, basically Misty hair translates to a type of weasel hair, so I'm pretty sure that's what this brush is. It's a little bit too long and the bristles aren't extremely coarse, so I can't really use it as an eyebrow brush. I would have tried, but I have before, and it's just a little bit too flimsy in that regard. Let me go ahead and give you guys some dimensions for this because I know I'm very particular about my eyebrow brushes. The total length is 169 millimeters. The length of the bristles from the very tip, the longest tip, is 8 millimeters, and then it's 10 centimeters wide. They don't give you on this shorter one, but it looks like maybe this is probably about 5 millimeters down here, so it kind of slants and you can kind of form a judgment there. So I think what I'll do is just go ahead and line the eyes a little bit with a color here. Just take this one here and just kind of line the upper lid and just stamp a little bit of liner into it. I don't think that's working because I think the shade that I used before was actually darker. Get it together, Kendra. All right, let me go ahead and just line underneath and show you guys. You can just basically stamp. So you can just kind of stamp that right in there. It fits really nicely as well. So if you didn't want to use it as an eyebrow brush, you could definitely use it as a liner brush. And I think the length and the width are perfect to just like stamp. Let me just go ahead and show you. Even though it's not really going to show up, but you could stamp and you can kind of see it right there, but you get what I'm saying. Let's go ahead and put just a little bit underneath there. Like not much. I think I'm just going to go for more of a natural look today than anything else. Lastly, we have the detail eyeshadow brush, which is pony hair. And it looks like this. It's an extremely nice detailing brush for underneath the brow bone. You can see here, I'm just going to go ahead and fluff underneath the brow bone right there. And then also, after I get this other eyebrow done, it works really good for the inner corner. All right. Okay, that is it for all of the brushes. I'll go ahead and get some nice lashes and some mascara on, and we'll get you guys zoomed out, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. I have on far too much makeup for how ruthlessly I just ate that Southwest salad. Like, I'm gonna lie. Oh, this highlighter matches my cup. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's move on to the review of this brush set. Let me give you guys some stats. Right now, I'm going to launch this video the day after. It'll be Black Friday. I'll launch this on Black Friday. So you guys will have the set available to you for $67.34. And if you get the little wooden tray or wooden container with it, it's going to be $71.04. Currently, it's for sale for $77.35 without the container, $81.60 with the container. I picked it up during it was before the singles sale. But I got this set for like $65, and then of course I had some AliExpress coupons. So my set was around $60 total, and I also, as you can see, I got the container with it. Let's talk about the brushes and what makes this collection so great. The collection is a mix of different types of hairs and different types of shapes of brushes. So if you are in the market to dip your foot into getting some really good quality brushes and try different hairs, try different shapes of brushes, this is the set I recommend for you. Okay, I can already tell, apparently I already need to powder. Who would have thought? But something like this fox hair was really, really good for me to see whether or not I might want to invest my money in the Cited fox hair collection. I know people rave about this collection, that it's great. I fully believe them. However, one of their brushes, I want to say, is like, their powder brushes over $100, I think. I should have looked this up, but I know it's quite pricey. Okay, it's quite pricey to own a fox hair brush from the Cited collection. And so this is a great alternative to that. Now, I'm not trying to compare the two. This brush set here is from my 2B classification. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and link in the eye and down below my brush classification video. Go take 7 minutes, watch that. I was very much in the beginning stages of my YouTube career, so I stumble over myself quite a bit, but it's a great time, and you will learn about the 2B versus the 3 category and why I separate brushes into categories. Because you really can't compare a type 2 to a type 3 and vice versa. And a type 1 is the Amazon little trashy brushes that everybody starts out with, or they have a collection of them somewhere, and they're really great for in a pinch, but in general they don't last very long, and they're just very, very cheap made brushes. This also comes with, like this contour brush here. So you've got a powder brush that's kind of that bulb shape. Then you've got your angled contour brush. So that gives you, again, more hairs to more shapes to play around with, really find out what you truly like in a brush. I didn't think I liked this type of brush at all. I own the MAC 168. I don't touch it. I don't touch it. I never found myself, like reaching for it. But this is a pony goat hair or squirrel pony mixture, and because it is so incredibly soft and it blends so effortlessly, I'm finding myself reaching for it more. So there you have that. The eyeshadow brushes, again, you get some squirrel and pony. This is a fox hair, and then this right here is a weasel hair. You can kind of try out a eyebrow brush to see if you like this style or not. Some people do, some people don't. I knew right away that this was going to be an eyeshadow liner stamper brush for me. It's not going to be my eyebrow brush, although I was willing to give it a shot, and I did, and then I washed it and decided nope, it's just going to be an eyeshadow liner brush. These are really just great to have because they're not necessarily, they're really not a hot commodity. Like, everybody needs them, they want them, they use them. It's pony hair, so it's not anything spectacular, but it gets into cracks and crevices really nicely, and it does a really good job, building up the brow bone highlights. This brush right here, I wish they would have came with like 2 of these, 2 different sizes, because not only could I use it as a highlighter, but I could set underneath the eye if I wanted to. They did have that tongue brush that I'll get into in just a moment. That one worked really nicely, but this would also set the face really well too, and see how it gets so nicely underneath there. But, and I'm showing for demonstration purposes, but normally I never touch a highlighter brush to my under eye because that would transfer highlighter underneath my eyes, and that's just a disaster waiting to happen. This brush I thought for sure would be a nice contour brush, but actually it really sets underneath the eyes super well because the manner that it picks up product due to the hair mixture. I don't know how much squirrel versus how much pony is in there. I'm sure it's cut, you know, to optimize for price range. But I do want to take a moment, not compare, but just let you know that when you dip into Food A, it's an investment phase. This is a way to not have to commit 100% and feel like you just blew your wad on one brush that, you know, it's like, well, actually that didn't really work out for me. And I'm not trying to down on Food A whatsoever, because the amount of craftsmanship, the types of hair that they use, it's just, there's no mistake for it, right? But there is a special type of brush that you're going to be drawn to, and these do shed a little bit. And so you will have a particular style of brush you want to use, and if you buy one of these guys and spend a lot of money for a Food A brush like this, and then get it and realize I have no use for it because I really don't want this big of a brush, you know, this big of a powder brush. What's great about the AliExpress site is they do give you the measurements, and so you can go in there and say like, okay, this is how big it would be. I knew this was going to be big. I've always wanted to try a bigger brush because I normally use like the Makeup Geek ones, and they're a little bit smaller and denser, but I always wanted to try a little bit bigger of a brush, and this one was a great way to try that out. As far as shedding goes, I had some shedding initially upon, you know, getting them, and then after I washed them I had a little bit more shedding. I did have like 1 or 2 hairs today. I've only washed the brushes once, and I've been using them for about a month and a half, so I think that's normal. I mean, they shed a lot less than I shed, so I'm not really here to complain about it. But as far as any of those people that are concerned about that, I don't think that's an issue too much. I really think this is a great and wonderful set for people who might want a Food A style of brush but can't afford that quality. That's kind of me right now. I'm not monetized. I'm not making any money off these videos. Okay? So I don't really have a lot of extra income I can just spend on, you know, Food A brushes or anything like that. If I did, I would definitely be, you know, reviewing those types of brushes as well as these. But I feel like these give you great quality brushes at a fraction of the price. You can almost take and cut in half the amount of money that you'll spend on a Chinese artisan brush versus a Food A brush. And it's just a really great way to find out what you like, get out there and trial and error what kinds of brushes you like, what types of hair, what types of hairs you like, or just in general, like if you're like me and you just generally, you like the types of brushes that Chinese artisan brushes offers. I like shopping on AliExpress and Taobao and finding, you know, lots of shushu long brushes I'm very, you know, fond of. I don't own any of those because I haven't made a Taobao order yet, but I've got my cart piled up of those brushes. I like the MyDestiny brushes. There's a couple of other brushes that I'm looking into getting. And yeah, I just generally like these types of brushes, and I see a gap because I don't really see a lot of people in this community out here talking about these Chinese artisan brushes like me. So if you like this type of content and I'm your vibe, make sure you subscribe. Guys, I can't wait to see you in my next video.